Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, cats and kittens, dogs and fucking puppies, all wrestling fans all over the world from different promotions, and all fellow wrestlers out there doing what they do best, kicking ass and taking names, you name it, they do it. Welcome to the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. I'm Eric Peralta, otherwise known as the Wrestling Enthusiast, and today we're going to take a look at this past week's Monday Night Raw episode. Was it a big stinking pile of shit like it was last week? So shitty that it went underground? Well, we'll have to find out and wait and see. Also, another special guest joins us on the show this week. It is Eli Everfly, one of the most popular independent wrestlers right now, currently at the moment. He just wrestled in San Diego a month ago before California reinstated their lockdown status once again. Thanks for those fuckers that are not wearing masks that continue to keep this shit going, but nonetheless. So anyway, yeah, Eli Everfly will be joining the show later on today. So with that being said, let's take a look at the wrestling news. But as usual, before we do, let's take a look at AEW Dynamite's numbers compared to WWE NXT. This week's episode, this past Wednesday, this week's episode of WWE NXT drew 619,000 viewers on the USA Network, which is down from the previous week's 753,000. They drew a 0.16 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down from the previous 0.20. AEW Dynamite on TNT pulled a 792,000 viewers, which is down from the show last week that did 901,000. They drew about a 0.32 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is down from the previous 0.36. So if I look at the comments again, I'm probably going to get some stupid shit. And so let me see. Someone types in, "It's funny, whenever I skip the show, the ratings dip. I guess I am just like every other fan out there." Well, whether you are a fan and you watch it and then you skip it, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm pretty sure you might have your reasons. Someone else writes, "Honestly, it wasn't a great night of wrestling for either show. Watch NXT live and watch Dynamite about an hour ago. Neither show really seemed to get rolling. I'm almost stay stale, which was surprising. Regardless, next week, let's support wrestling. Both going with no competition. Let's get both to crack 1 million. Someone responded to the show, "I agree, but it was going to be hard for either show to duplicate what they did last week." And someone else wrote, "Damn, I thought AEW's wrestling was actually okay last night. Less sloppy moments." And you want to be fair, I just briefly reviewed them, and I said AEW and NXT, they pretty much did the same type of show. It wasn't that bad. It was good. Both shows were good, but I'm gonna have to say I have to say that they were a little bit off their game a little bit. So that being said, yes, I think that was just both shows they weren't as good as last week's, or as far as like AEW's, because last week AEW did a hell of a show. This week, wasn't as good as last week, but still good. NXT, same thing. Wasn't as good as last week, but this week was good. But, it's okay. I like both shows. There was a rumor afloat that SummerSlam this year will be held at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. WWE's production trucks are scheduled to arrive on Friday to begin setting things up. All personnel at the arena will be going through COVID-19 testing before unloading the equipment. The load-in is scheduled to begin on Friday and will run until Tuesday or Wednesday. There is no word yet on if WWE NXT TakeOver 30 or the post-SummerSlam Raw or SmackDown taping will take place from the same arena, but it's more than possible. As reported earlier here on EWN, there are no fans expected to be inside the arena for the pay-per-view event. The Amway Center would obviously allow for pyro and a much bigger set. We'll stay posted as we keep hearing more as the ongoing issue continues. Speaking of WWE, interesting news regarding their WWE network. Starting this Saturday, independent promotions are coming to WWE Network. Evolve Wrestling, Progress Wrestling, and from England, Germany's WXW and Scotland's ICW will debut for subscribers to the award-winning streaming service, quotes, giving the WWE Universe a chance to see some of their favorite wrestlers like never before. And this is just the beginning. You'll continue to see footage from their libraries as well as new and exciting content from all of these promotions on WWE Network in the weeks and months to come. The first drop features a pair of compilations highlighting two of WWE's and NXT's top stars, along with full shows from each promotion. The Best of Drew McIntyre in Evolve features the WWE Champion in action before his 2017 return to the company. You'll see McIntyre in thrilling matches against the likes of Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Roderick Strong, Aleister Black, and of course, Matt Riddle. The Best of Keith Lee in Evolve also features the NXT champion coming into his own before making the jump to the black and gold brand. In this compilation, the Limitless One takes on Timothy Thatcher, Walter, and Matt Riddle. The special also features a pair of early battles against his rival and close friend Dominik Dijakovic. Fans will get a look at Germany's WXW and see different styles of combat on display. WXW Ambition 11 is a one-night Smash Mouth tournament featuring NXT UK champion Walter and Timothy Thatcher setting out to punish the competition. Also featured from the WXW library is a one-night all-women's tournament, Femis Fatale 2019. Actually, it's Femis Fatale 2019, to be honest with you. Progress Wrestling has been hailed as the jewel of the British independent wrestling scene, having catapulted superstars like Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, Tony Storm, and the Grizzled Young Veterans, one of the most acclaimed tag teams in England and possibly all in Europe. So they get into a worldwide platform on Progress Chapter 92, highlighted by hard-hitting battle for the Progress Championship between Walter and Ilja Dragunov. That's a name I have not heard in a long time. Haven't heard of him since January, but the COVID-19 pandemic, it sucks. But anyway, the WWE Universe will also be introduced to the Scottish Underground with Insane Championship Wrestling. Night number 2 of Shrug's Hoose Party 5 sees WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett take over as commissioner for the evening. NXT UK's Piper Niven in action, as well as viral video sensation Grotto. Check out the full list of shows debuting and be sure to watch them all starting this Saturday on the award-winning WWE Network. We have some independent shows finally making their way towards independent discovery, and that's actually good. I'm actually glad for that. That's really something I actually look forward to, and I really hope that they do succeed. And let's see how it goes from here, and see. Hopefully, maybe it'll convince me to keep the network, because I seriously was thinking about canceling it, because the shit that they produce was just that. It was shit. Okay. So, next news headline. During Wednesday night's edition, since we spoke about the NXT and AEW ratings earlier. Now, during Wednesday night's edition of NXT, Velveteen Dream made his return as the mystery third man in the ladder match qualifier. He competed against Cameron Grimes and Kushida for the spot in the ladder match. This ladder matches take place for the North American Championship at NXT TakeOver 30. Of course, Cameron Grimes ended up winning the match in the end, and Velveteen Dream was the one that did not get pinned. Now, after the match, Velveteen Dream ended up beating up Kushida. So, with that being said, a lot of wrestling fans didn't like the news regarding Velveteen Dream returning to the wrestling ring, especially for NXT. I'm reading some comments, and someone are saying, I have no words, although I want to puke fits the story. And someone else says right here, didn't he text a few underage girls? What's happening, brother? And someone responds back, underage boys, actually, with several screenshots. In other words, this guy was involved in the speaking out movement that happened about 2 months ago. So with that being said, because a lot of fans were actually pissed off about this shit. As a matter of fact, I read a few tweets, and I look at them, and then I see them, and there's like many fucking reactions. As you can see, you know how Twitter could be, but there's many fucking reactions to this shit. And someone writes, he's a fucking pedo. Keep him away from Raw or SmackDown or NXT or any promotion at all costs. Someone responds back, what the hell? Another one responds back, someone tell all their sponsors that they are child groomer apologists. Someone else says, madness, another reason to add to the long list of why I refuse to watch a single minute of WWE programming. Another one writes, this will clearly be a very good thing for business. Clearly. In capitals. Another person says, all hell is finally break loose on this application. Someone says, we don't want him back. Another one says, no one wants him. Someone else writes, I don't understand how Dream still has a job. And someone else says, absolutely the fuck not. Someone else says, WWE really is a dumpster fire. Someone else says, why? And then one more from here. Well, actually, two more. Someone says, Jesus fucking Christ, people are going to have actively informed the WWE sponsors about this dickhead to make anything happen, just like when they were forced to change the Moolah Battle Royal and fuck Matt Riddle. Although, I don't know about Matt Riddle's situation, but I cannot make a claim on that. And then one last comment. Someone says, I hope the locker room bullies him. I mean, I will say Twitter is definitely a toxic environment, and I have no comment for these fucking people. But I don't disagree with them either. So, I don't know. I mean, apparently this is a Vince McMahon call, apparently, because this old senile fuck doesn't even remember what he had for breakfast this morning. So, but that's just my opinion, and I'm pretty sure other people have their own opinion, to each their own. So with that being said, that's the wrestling news for this week, or at least for the past few days so far. Alright, now before I head to the WWE Raw review, it's now time for another special guest to appear on my show. And this week on Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk, we have one of the top indie wrestlers. He's a high flyer, high risk wrestler. He also takes some crazy ass bump. As a matter of fact, I seen not only on his Twitter but on his Instagram, there's like a video compilation of him taking many seriously ill-fated bumps. And trust me, it's the craziest shit, and it's brutal how many bumps he's taken, how many times he's almost landed on his neck or in his head or whatever, or how many times that he's actually fucking fallen into a stack of chairs. I mean, it's fucking crazy, and it's cringy, but not like cringe like, oh, it's terrible. oh, it's terrible to watch and it's fucking boring. No, I mean like it is cringe. Like, man, that looked like it hurt bad. But nonetheless, he's also a rising star coming into the professional wrestling world. He's been wrestling for the past 5-6 years, and he's been kicking ass ever since. And he's even involved in a mixed tag with Delilah Doom, and they formed the team Doomfly. So definitely, and they're definitely indie darlings themselves too. Especially Delilah Doom is also an up and coming wrestler, women's wrestler, and yes, they are a couple as well. So anyway, but this time we're going to talk about Eli Everfly and discuss what his most painful bump is, what interested him in the wrestling business, and what was his concerns in the pandemic and made him trip out and shit. And we just had like a really fun conversation. So without any further ado, I would like to present my special guest, Eli Everfly, and I hope you guys enjoy this fun little discussion that we had. All right, everybody, we have a very special guest here. He's one of the indie darlings in professional wrestling, and of course, he wrestled at GCW. He wrestled at PCW Ultra over in Wilmington, California, and I think he's a future upright in professional wrestling today. Please welcome Mr. Eli Everfly. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Excellent, man. I'm actually stoked for this stuff, man. I'm really excited.
Really stoked too.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, how you been doing during this pandemic?
I've been doing really good, just trying to do what I can to just, stay in shape or kind of stay relevant or, going through what everybody else is going through pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, just trying to do what you got to do, man. That's the best thing to do right now. Keep your head up, man. That's the best thing to do. All right,
yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And don't be afraid to be yourself in this podcast. We like to have fun here. So, I like to have fun. But
yeah.
Anyway, so my first question is, you've always been a fan of professional wrestling, right? And you always been
yes.
since childhood.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
What was like your favorite moments from back in the days if you were watching it back when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, man, I've always been intrigued with wrestlers like The Rock, Mankind. I grew up, watching wrestling in the Attitude Era, from like 98, went on. But I started around that time. I was like really small kid, must have been like 5 years old, But all the wrestlers that intrigued me were like The Rock, and it was his it was his charisma, and like guys like Mankind. It just had to do with what he showed and the passion he had inside of the ring, and how that portrayed and manifested in the match. So, like my favorite memories from back in the day definitely had to do with like The Rock, The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's the rivalry.
Their matches, their matches were just, that's like my childhood. But I remember when Jeff Hardy climbed the ladder. If it was WrestleMania, I think like 17. I'm not too sure. Maybe 18. He jumped off the ladder, went through the table. That whole match. Between Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the Dudley Boys, that kind of like just changed my perspective on everything, as far as wrestling goes, and it made me love it so much. And from then on out, I kind of like just felt like moved, and I was just kind of like, I always felt like, oh man, I want to make people feel the way I felt at that moment.
Yeah, definitely, especially during that time.
That's what sticks with me.
Yeah, no, especially I used to back in the day when I used to watch that, because that's basically when I started watching wrestling when I was 3, and that was at the end of the Hulkamania era. And I started like watching it because you get to see Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and you get to see Macho Man. Ooh, yeah, that. And, just all these charismatic gimmicks and characters come around, I was intrigued. That was around the time when, like, Shawn Michaels started coming around, Undertaker, and Bret Hart, and Diesel. All those guys, they were all starting around. That was when I was, like, 4 or 5 years old. And then after that, like, I started watching the rivalry of The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that was, like, a really, really fun time because, those two knew how to talk crap. They know how to talk shit and everything.
Yeah. Do you feel like that like revamped it for you a little bit?
It got me. It got me like a lot more interested. Yeah, it got me like a lot more interested. Like now than ever before back in those days. So, and then
Okay,
watching
okay.
the Hardy Boys and all that stuff, the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian, all the risk taking that they were doing, it's phenomenal to say the least. So, I was really intrigued by that, and
Yeah.
I've been watching it ever since.
Yeah. Watching the wrestling from, the end of the Hogan era, because I didn't get to watch that. I started a little later, and watching the wrestling from the Attitude Era. What was the difference like for you? Do you feel like you noticed the wrestling was different, or were you just like so intrigued with the characters that it didn't matter?
There was a bit of a difference back in those days, actually. I kind of I've noticed there was a bit more. There was more selling, more hitting, more hard hits, more crazy spots, and I noticed there was like a lot more shit talking than ever before. And I just really
that's a thing too.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how what shit going on in the UFC. They're trying to do that, but at the same point in time, it kind of the basis of the character is actually what got me interested in everything there, especially with Stone Cold saying, I'm the toughest son of a bitch in the whole wide world. That type of shit. I mean, that I could do improvisations, but I could do that later anyway.
No, but yeah,
but I was intrigued by
it. When it comes to wrestling, just from looking back, I was always more intrigued with the characters. Like my favorite wrestlers were The Rock, and as I got older, like Batista, even at John Cena at some point. They were never the best wrestlers, but I was so intrigued with their characters and the storylines, and that's what took it, beyond what I could actually speculate, in the ring. So
I definitely enjoyed it. Even that during those days, I really enjoyed this. There were the up and coming back in like the mid 2000s, so to say, and then you had and then you with Edge being a single star being pushed up there, and then you just really you kept on looking because you were intrigued to watch it, and it was awesome back in those days. So yeah. So anyway, basically watching wrestling back in the day, that actually inspired you to be a professional wrestler, right?
Yeah. When like I said, when I watched that WrestleMania match, actually I had a VHS that my mom got from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And it was a really cheap one, and it was about the feud between the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. It was called like Extreme something, I forgot. And then I just remember watching that DVD and watching that VHS and saying like, man, this is what I really wanted to do. Fast forward, kind of like, you go through your adolescence, high school, kind of.
Right.
I got into mixed martial arts, a whole lot, and then, just kind of like lost my way a bit. And then once I turned 19, I just fell in love with it all over again. And I always watched it, but I think when I was 19, I just figured like, oh, you know what? I'm doing all this because I want to make other people proud of me.
Yeah.
But right now, I want to be a professional wrestler for me. I'm doing all this for me because I love it. And then and then at that, watching the Hardest Dudleys, and that match, it planted that seed. I always say it planted that seed, and then years later, everything just came into fruition, and I just that match always just sticks with me.
Well, that's always the inspiration, and that everything just clicked together, and that's the best thing about being a professional wrestler. So you're obviously a high flyer in the ring, so you are one of the quickest wrestlers I've ever seen. Your favorite style, is that your favorite style, lucha libre and high flying? Is that your favorite wrestling style?
Actually, no, it's not.
Wow.
I think now it is, because that's kind of like, that's what I train. But before, when I first started wrestling, I liked grappling, because I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from 13 to 19, purple belt, and like I really appreciate the grappling aspect of professional wrestling, So when I first started, I kind of wanted to mix grappling and lucha libre in a certain way, like aerialistic, submissions, so that professional wrestling could be more believable in a certain way, kind of trying to get my own mix. And I did that for a good while, but then, man, once I started just training more and more lucha libre, man, everything just changed. I just wanted to get really good at it, and I love just like the aerials and the springboards, and you know, being a master of the ropes, and just the culture itself, man. I just totally changed, man. Like
the springboard's probably tough to pull off, but you could do it. You know, it must have. I mean, is it like a really difficult moveset for you to perform, or you actually get better at it while you're training?
Yeah, that's the reason why I love it so much, because it is more difficult. I'm the type of person where I like to be challenged.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to reach my full potential doing this, you know? So
that's a good mindset to have, you know?
Yeah, so, and I felt like wrestling, when I was doing Lucha Libre, while doing Lucha Libre, I feel like I am better, you know? And it just... everything flows a lot more. And I remember when I wrestled at the Crash for about it was one of the few times, Conan was the booker, K-Dog. Yeah. And I remember the first time I wrestled there, I didn't really do too much, and I didn't really show what I could do, you know, and I was kind of just being, you know, trying to be a little more technical. And then he told me, hey, you're good at Lucha Libre. This is what you're good at. Do what you're good at. Stop trying to be something that you're not, you know? Right. Excel at what you're good at. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop the submissions, and I'm going to lean towards the wrestling. I mean, the Lucha Libre, you know? And that's what I've been doing ever since, and it's been working really well for me, man.
Yeah, and, you know, watching some of your matches out there, you know, I see you get better and better at it at your craft, and then, you know, your matches are phenomenal, by the way. I really enjoy your matches. So, you know, so you've been wrestling 7 years under your belt, and do you have like a favorite opponent that you have wrestled against, or anybody like in particular? Do you have a favorite match, if anything?
Man, I don't know if I have a favorite opponent, but I have favorite opponents. You know, I feel like each opponent gives me a different dynamic of feel. You know, like Brian Cage is definitely my favorite big man to wrestle.
Yes. Brian Cage.
I've had a lot of good matches with him at bar wrestling. We had a great match at Lucha Underground. It was a dark match, you know. And then when it comes to smaller guys, I love wrestling Tony Deppen. You know, Tony Deppen is one of
I heard of Tony Deppen. He's pretty phenomenal too. You know, he's a cool.
He's a very fierce wrestler. You know. So I would say, and then it comes down to also a different dynamic of just because you know Tony is very technical, but also his trainer, you know, Unbreakable Andy Harner. I wrestled him at GCW, and man, just the chemistry between us was like no other, you know. But it wasn't like me and Brian Cage, you know. It was just, everything was just so different. So I would just say those three guys, you know, Deppen, Andy, and Cage. They were like, you know, just different dynamics. They brought out a different side of me. But I don't know. I can't compare them. Yeah.
So obviously giving you a good challenge, especially, you know, when it comes to technical wrestling and lucha libre high style wrestling. You know, that's a cool thing, and that's pretty cool to know about that. You know,
and then also when it, like with Brian, it was so natural because he's wrestled like the best luchadors in the world. You know. Yeah,
and I heard about his resume. Yeah, I heard he's like really good.
When he wrestled me, it was. You know, he was used to wrestling guys like me, and he had wrestled the best guys like me. And it kind of, I feel like he brought me to that, not that level, but, you know, he gave me a good understanding of, you know, how I should be like, you know, and it really changed me. So, like, all those guys have made me better. And I feel like the guys who I wrestle and make me better are the ones who, you know, who deserve the cred.
That's really awesome, man. I mean, I know, especially now that, you know, Brian Cage is in AEW, Tony Deppen's still in GCW kicking ass. I saw a recent match at the Keep in Touch interactive pay-per-view I saw. And, you know, trust me, he did really well. It was a fantastic match. So anyway, I've seen your video montage and on your Twitter and on your Instagram, because and every time, you know how, like, I always look at the wrestlers on Instagram, and, you know, because I follow at least probably like 300 wrestlers.
Okay, nice.
But, you know, you know, you know, because I'm always looking at the Instagram, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, you know, I'm not like one of these internet trolls that say, oh, you suck and all that crap and all that bullshit. And then I'm like one of those guys who are like, how did you ever to pull off that maneuver, you know, especially if it was all risky, you know, I'm all,
Yeah,
I'm acting like I know
nice.
them. I don't know why I do that, but maybe it's because like in the wrestling community, I kind of like to like I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a way to be a part of it. But I mean, because I'm a
Oh yeah, most
fan,
definitely.
but at the same time, I've gone to meet and greets at the PCW Ultra shows and all that stuff. So I'm like, I kind of be like a bit more engaging, and that's why like I've taken pictures with a couple of wrestlers, and I took like Rob Van Dam. I took picture with Zeta Shanks. Actually, I had her on my show.
Nice.
I had her on
Oh
my
yeah, you
show
told me that.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
but anyway, yeah. So I always give them. I always buy merchandise off them, and I always try to help because I know how the professional wrestling business is like. So I'll help out your fellow wrestler, so to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, speaking of that, I saw your video montage of all the sick ass fucking bumps that I could say you took, and those chair bumps off the top, over the top rope, and all that shit. And I'm like, God damn! What was perhaps this question? What is the most painful bump you probably ever took?
Ooh. Okay. It's a toss between two.
Okay.
All right. Can I do a countdown? Like top three?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
No,
right.
go ahead.
All right.
The guest is always welcome on this show, trust me. But now go ahead. Go for it, bro.
All right. Number 3 would be when Jimmy Lloyd gave me the Joker driver off the ladder through the door, and it didn't even break. It was just like a little thud.
Yeah, when I see that crap, when I see wrestlers get tossed to a door and then it doesn't break, or a table nonetheless, I'm like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah, and this was a big ladder, man. It was like 16 feet, and we went boom. And it was the Joker driver, and I just remember when he gave it to me, my whole arm went numb. And I was like, did I break something? But I didn't break anything,
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That was one. That was number 3. Second one was when AC Baby gave me the pounce on bar wrestling, and I flew to the outside, and I, like, in my head, everybody was going to catch me like I was Simba, That didn't happen. The sea spread very quickly. They saw me in the air. My legs were dangling like this, and the sea went like that. And I hit the ground, man. And I was like, I was full of sweat, so I slid. And I just remember me hitting, and my hip hit, and my face hit too. And I just was one of those moments where I felt like, when you're playing Tony Hawk, and then you slide up a ramp and you fall down. Yeah. It was one of those moments where I was like, I kind of know what this feels like now. Yeah.
Man,
that was number 2.
That sucked.
But anyway. the worst feeling I've ever felt was when B-Boy, it's the first, I believe it's like the first or second clip in the first montage I did, the murder montage.
Yeah.
He military presses me over the top rope, over the pole.
Right. And
I just hit the floor. And he threw me far, man. He threw me like 15 feet. Back then, I was like maybe 100 pounds. I was way smaller than what I am now. So he tossed me, and I flew, man. I hit the floor, and all I remember was me hitting like my side and my ass.
Shit!
I couldn't even feel my legs, and I was just rolling because I had knocked the wind out of me too, and I was like trying to gasp for air, and that just the feeling of having the wind knocked out of you, and then your leg going numb and being like, okay, I don't know if I could walk right now. That just it was really scary. Yeah.
I bet you had to use a lot of Bengay after that, probably.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Luckily, I didn't get injured off of any of those.
Oh, that's good.
Like all the times I've gotten injured have been stupid things like rolls and little pivots. Like little things you would have never even guessed. But all those moments that you saw me in that murder compilation where I'm just getting my ass kicked, I didn't get hurt off of any of those things. Yeah, I mean, they hurt, but I didn't get injured. Let's say per se.
Yeah. Well, the best part, at least, you didn't get injured by those, so that's that's a good thing about it. It was spectacular looking, and that's all that. I guess you know what though, kudos though, bonus points. At least for you because at least you didn't get hurt, but at least it was spectacular looking. So that's crazy. I got to give you kudos, bro. So there was at one point at the Staples Center you actually wrestled a match in the WWE against The Miz and Shane McMahon. You were the Bryant brothers. I remember because I was there in attendance.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was there. It was November 2018.
Cool.
Did
you see me before? Did you see me before, or was that the first time you saw me?
I think that was the first time I saw you. But no, trust me. Like because the last 2.5 years, I'm starting to really get going with indie wrestling.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm just, because like I'm sick. Sometimes like with WWE producers, I'm like, ugh. But
Okay.
but no.
Yeah.
I don't hate them. They're cool too. But it's just.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just paying more attention to the indies because I like a little bit of variety, and I like to watch all kinds of matches from many of the up and coming talent and many talent that are actually top indie stars. So I like to watch that.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how was that experience like when you wrestled against Miz and Shane McMahon?
Oh man, it was really interesting because I did a 4-day weekend, I believe, with them because it was like NXT.
Yeah,
and
I was there at the takeover too.
Yeah, it was like NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and then I don't know if it was the Survivor Series.
Yeah, Survivor Series.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it was like a 4-day weekend. SmackDown was the last day, and then I had been doing extra work the entire week, so I didn't think I was gonna get picked or anything. I was like, all right, they're not gonna use me. I'm not gonna have a match. Nothing's gonna happen. So the last day happens, and then they call everybody to the ring, and then everybody has a tryout, and then I was impressive apparently. And Dean Malenko was like, hey, you kid, do a small package, and I was like, oh, okay, and I did a small package, and Dean Malenko was like, all right, good. Okay, you're gonna wrestle tonight, and I was like, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, oh, out of all these people, there's like 20 people, So I was just like, man. And then I'm definitely the smallest guy, I'm freaking Mexican too, So I was just like, okay, this is great.
Oh yeah. Here, bro. Mexican too.
yeah, exactly. It's like, but that honestly, that might have been the reason why they picked me because they needed a minority. I don't know, but I was definitely probably the only Mexican there, dude.
But that's cool, man. I mean, you were able to get selected, so that was cool. And not only did you get selected, you actually beat them.
Yeah, they picked me and my friend Kita.
Yeah, Kita.
And he was the only black guy who was short.
Kita Murray, right?
Yeah, Kita Murray. Yeah. They picked us. They didn't at first. I didn't even know I was gonna win, and then Dean Malenko was like, "All right," and then you pin him 1, 2, 3, and then you get the fuck out. And I was like, "Okay, wait, what?" I didn't believe it at first.
That's what Dean Malenko told you, huh?
Yeah. He was just like, all right. He was telling me how it went, and like, all right, one. Then he goes up to you, you pin him 1, 2, 3, you get the fuck out. And I was just thinking, so I'm winning. Wait, are you guys gonna bring me back, or am I come back next week? Like all this stuff is going through my mind, And then the match happens. I walk down the ramp, and I think every kid who's watched professional wrestling has pictured themselves coming down a WWE ramp,
playing, absolutely.
Coming to one, everybody, And then out of all the times I've thought, man, it must have been a million times, fantasizing over this when I was going down the ramp. It happened so fast. The lights were in my face. I couldn't even see the audience. I heard little Chuck's Eli, people who were local who could and when I was in the match, it kind of was just, I was in the zone, dude. It was just like, it was all work, man. I never really soak things in when I'm in there. I'm straight up work. It's all work, business. So I was in there. Yeah, it happened. I didn't really get to soak it in. So when I got home, I watched the match over and over and over again. And I kind of trying to let it resonate, that it happened. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's really cool. Anybody from the staff besides Dean Malenko you actually met that was actually cool?
Yeah, dude. The Miz was super cool, dude. He was one of the coolest guys I've met in WWE too. And Kalisto was really cool. He went up to me. And
Kalisto,
yeah. In Gorilla, he went up to me and he talked to me. He was like, "Hey, I see some of your stuff. Cool, man. Good luck." And it gave me a lot of confidence going into it because I had watched him so much in PWG and all over Southern California. And he was one of the guys that I looked up to. So it was kind of cool that he had seen me before at least, or knew who I was. So that was good. That's kind of, and then going into it, you're in a big stage at the Staples Center, which is a place that I've always wanted to wrestle. And then it kind of just thinking oh man, all these people, they're so famous, nobody knows who I am. But it was a good feeling, one of the guys I looked up to getting that from him.
That's really awesome. And you know what? I think that's not gonna. Something tells me that after this pandemic is over with and all this bullshit that's going on, I have a feeling you're gonna be back on that big stage pretty soon. But you keep kicking ass over there, so don't. That's a compliment right there.
Thank you.
But anyway, speaking of the pandemic, were you kind of nervous about the professional wrestling business when the pandemic struck? I asked this to Zeta Zhang on my last special guest appearance. Were you actually concerned about this?
Well, at first, everything is like so unbelievable at first because like I didn't believe anything was real,
Right.
When everything was shutting down. Yeah, everyone was thinking that, dude. Like my school got shut down, my wrestling school got shut down. And I was thinking, like, why is everything getting shut down? It's probably not even going to be that much of a big deal, and we're all like a bunch of fucking assholes, And then, and then things just kept getting worse and worse. So, like, when wrestling first started coming back, I was a bit skeptical. I was just like, this isn't going to work out at all. And then slowly just seeing, what GCW's doing, and then I did a drive-in wrestling show not too long ago, and that was cool.
Is that the one in San Diego?
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't be able to attend it, but I was like, damn, I could imagine going over there, know. But I heard you had like a couple of matches in San Diego the past few months.
I've had 2 in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
That's within the span of like 2 months. So everything's been very dry out here per se.
Yes, California, especially how that is right now, definitely dry.
Everything is dry.
It's drier than dirt, or drier than a fossilized turd out of a dinosaur's ass, like I say.
Pretty much.
Comical. But anyway, but it's pretty bad. I see that you can. We'll talk about your upcoming match in a bit. So anyway, that's really cool though. You had those matches over in San Diego. For some, because I've seen also your little Wrestle Days documentary with you and Delilah. And for some people that are out there that didn't see that documentary, it was showcasing on how you two met, because you both are fellow professional wrestlers, and then you also became a tag team. So how did that become of it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I guess first we wrestled each other at a wrestling show. It was called FCW. Oh no, not FCW. Fuck.
Sabotage?
It was called Sabotage.
Oh, okay.
I was the FCW lightweight champion, and she was the Sabotage women's champion.
Oh, nice.
And it was an intergender show, and they decided, since we were both the champions, and then San Diego was like my territory, so I made my name. They would have that match, and it was the main event, and we wrestled each other, and it was good. And people say it was one of the top 3 intergender wrestling matches in Southern California history.
Wow.
Which is good, and it got a lot of notoriety, and it was like one match of the month. It was really good, And after that, I just fell in love with her.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, at least everything worked out. And that's really awesome. That's a cool thing.
We fell in love, and then I remember, Joey Ryan put us in a tag team together.
Don't worry, you can talk about him. I mean, whatever.
At the time, he was cool, I guess. Just kidding. He put us in a tag team, and at the time we had already been booked in another match, and I called us Doomfly, and this match was before that match actually happened. So this was our first match together, and it was me and Delilah against Penelope Ford and Joey Janela. That was our first match ever, as a tag team, and she was fucking awesome, and then that match, man, it made me feel so good about tag team wrestling. I never even wanted to be in a tag team before, dude. I'm such a selfish wrestler, and I just want everything to myself, the merchandise to myself, all the notoriety and everything to myself. But when I was, when we shared the experience, it was just, I love her. So it was different. It was different, and it was a good feeling, and it was like, I just wanted to experience it more and more.
Yeah, that's good. As a matter of fact, I believe I saw you guys back in February, about 2 weeks before the pandemic struck.
Oh, okay.
Well, at Pomona, Bar Wrestling 54, which was Mach 1, when you guys were in the John Ian Tag Team Invitational.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I saw you guys up there, and I mean, I think I have a video of you guys over on my Instagram. You can check that out anytime you want. But like I said, I saw you guys wrestle there, and you guys worked as a cohesive unit in there, and you know how there was at least 6 or 7 or 8 teams all in the ring at the same time. It was like a clusterfuck. But when I say clusterfuck, I meant in a good way, because it was a fun match. It was a fun match to watch. But you guys won the match, and you guys didn't. I was actually really impressed, and that was after a couple of beers and a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
But like I
Nice.
said, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun watching you guys, wrestle out there. So that was actually my very last wrestling event before this pandemic struck.
Oh, really? Yeah, that was one of our last ones. It's probably like, the second to last one that we did.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to the Mamba show, but I was thinking to myself, shit, maybe I'll go to the next one.
I don't think that show happened, dude. That show got canceled.
No, huh? I don't
think it happened, dude.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there was another one, PCW Ultra. They were supposed to have a show in Wilmington on March the 27th, and then they canceled it. And I didn't felt bad. I felt pissed because number one, I missed out another wrestling show, and then number two, it was my birthday.
Oh,
so I was extra pissed.
Damn.
So I was like, and that was my brother was gonna come for the first time, but damn.
Oh man, that would have been so fun.
Yeah, because they were gonna buy some beers and watch a couple of matches and shit, and I'm like, well, anyway,
cool.
I guess I got one more question for you because I know
all right.
I'm tracking the time. Don't worry, man. I'll let you go.
No, it's all good.
But anyway, no. This has been a fun conversation, though.
Okay,
absolutely.
Good.
No, that's what I do. Like I know you're barely my second guest, but at the same time, we have these fun conversations. I like to do that because we always talk about what got you into wrestling and what was the fun part, the fun factor in it, and of course the inspiration, but not to mention the funny stories and all the crazy shit that goes on.
Yeah.
I like to talk about that stuff because I'm as a fan, I feel like not only just watching the matches, but see everything else that helps it take place. But So I guess one more question.
Yeah.
So after this pandemic is over, you could say the same for Delilah too. What does the future hold for Eli Everfly?
Oh man.
Championships probably.
Yeah. Hopefully. Right now I'm just trying to get better, dude. I'm trying to train more, work harder, get in better shape, and just evolve. What's next? I don't know, man. You know what I do, I don't know what's next, but what I do see is just a bunch of more crazy shit,
Yeah.
And a lot more crazy moments, a lot more highlights,
Yeah.
A lot more, oh my fucking gosh, is he dead? A lot more of that. I don't know, but
a lot of holy shit moments.
I'm going to see where that takes me.
Yeah.
And because that's what I love to do. And if what I love to do takes me where, wherever it may be, and that if that can make me happy, then I think that I'll be satisfied. But other than that, I love entertaining you guys, and I love wrestling, even if it hurts my body. I love leaving you guys going home with moments that you'll never forget, or going home saying, hey, you know what? I came to see that Pentagon Junior match, but that Eli Everfly, dude, he took a fucking beating,
Yeah, I remember too, guys, especially when you took a bump when you wrestled in a 3-against-1 handicap match against Shaft at PCW Ultra.
Yeah.
You took a sick ass bump on a stack of chairs, and you literally almost landed on my foot. But
okay, yeah.
No, but I was like, no, trust me, that was exciting shit. So anyway, I'll pull the plug for you. VXS, No Justice, No Peace, on August 16th. It's going to be you're going to participate in a 3-way match. Eli Everfly versus Alex Zane and versus Facade. It's going to be on Fight TV on interactive pay-per-view for $12.99. Proceeds go towards the Equal Justice Initiative, and that's gonna be really cool right there. I think that's going to be a fun show for you right there.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, you like to pull your plug, or where can everyone find you at?
Yeah, you could find me at Eli Everfly on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, not TikTok.
Yeah, I never got into TikTok shit, but
Yeah, me either.
I did a reel on Instagram recently, and I'm like, who the hell needs TikTok? But go on, go ahead.
To each their own. To each
their own. Yeah.
Exactly. If you want to, I have a YouTube too. If you want to contact me on there, or you can always email me. EliEverfly@gmail.com. If you want any answers, any questions, any comments you want to leave me, go ahead.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this little interview, man. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And And for you and Delilah Doom, you guys good luck in the future out there, and good luck with you guys' matches. You guys have a good time kicking ass and doing what you do best, man.
All right, man.
All right. So peace out, bro. You guys take care of yourself, and good luck in your match. Hopefully you end up winning.
Oh yeah. I'll do it for you.
Thank you. All right. Take care of yourself, bro.
All right, you too, man.
Have yourself a good one. Yeah, what a fun discussion that me and Eli Everfly had, and it was definitely an awesome talk that we had, and him experienced wrestling in WWE when he appeared on an episode of SmackDown, and facing The Miz and Shane McMahon, and then winning. Then discussing that's what Dean Malenko actually told him to do. It was just a very, very fun story to talk about, and of course, even with his interest in wrestling and how many sick bumps he took. Man, I gotta tell you, it's one of the main reasons why I think he's gonna be a future star in the pro wrestling business. So keep an eye out for him, Eli Everfly. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on. So, but also just to plug it out once again, independent wrestling company VXS. They're an upstart company. They're going to have I believe this is probably their first pay-per-view, I believe. The event's called No Justice, No Peace. It's going to be this coming Sunday on August 16th. Eli Everfly will participate in a triple threat extravaganza match, and his opponent is Alex Zane and Facade. And it's going to be on Fight TV on interactive pay-per-view. It's $13. Proceeds go towards the Equal Justice Initiative, and trust me, it'll be a lot of fun. And also check out his matches on YouTube. Follow him on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And trust me, there's a lot of fun videos that we can watch on his YouTube channel, and his little Wrestling Days documentary with Delilah Doom. And certainly is interesting to watch, and it was a lot of fun. It tells a great story. So check it out. Check out Eli Everfly. Make sure you give my boy Eli Everfly a follow up on Instagram. All right, so let's take a brief look at Monday Night Raw. And someone told me, you should review an episode of Monday Night Raw because it was so bad last week with the Raw Underground and then the debut of Retribution, which was only mentioned once throughout the entire episode, that you should actually review this week's up-and-coming Raw. And this was an email that I got on this past Sunday. So I said to myself, okay, well, I guess I'll go ahead and review it. So, as we're going to watch this abysmal show. So, here I am, watching this show. And, it was a really shitty Raw last week. And, with that Raw Underground bullshit going on, and then the bad story time, Montez Ford getting poisoned. At least Drew McIntyre cut a good promo. The main event was not even that good. You name it, it just sucked. So I looked at this episode of Monday Night Raw this week, and it starts off with Samoa Joe in the middle of the ring with a contract signing, and Dominic is a contract signing between Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins. So Dominic Mysterio apparently is going to sign 2 contracts. One of them is going to be for the match at SummerSlam, and the other is going to be for a contract, an actual WWE contract, making him an actual WWE superstar. So anyway, Rollins comes in first, along with Murphy. Dominic has his own entrance, so he brings a kendo stick. And Seth ended up calling him a coward and a scared little boy for bringing a kendo stick. Joe says, yes, this will be much safer with me. So Samoa Joe ends up holding the kendo stick instead. So Seth wonders what if Joe thinks this is a joke. Joe says, personally, he thinks this whole thing is sad. And I saw the... okay, I'm gonna be real. I saw the fucking promo that Seth Rollins pulled out, along with beefing with Joe, and then of course talking shit about Dominic Mysterio. And judging by how the way Seth Rollins had like some sort of idea of even trying to put his input in this match, to explain to his case why he did what he did, and to his father's eye and to Aleister Black or whatever. I'm like, ugh, I have no faith in this shit already. I've already like fucking given up at this point. But I still have to watch because I said I have an oath to fulfill. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch this stinky, smelly pile of shit that you call Monday Night Raw. It's got chunks of sausage. Anyway, so the promo ends and Dominic says Seth is selfish and the greater good is just for Seth. Seth says he's on the cups of fulfilling his dream and he doesn't even understand it. It's all because of Seth and he should be on his knees thanking Seth. And Dominic says, yeah, he's right. This was his dream. But now his dream is to kick Seth's ass at SummerSlam. So, Seth signs a contract. Dominic signs his and his match contract. Watching Seth the entire time, he also signs his contract as well. Seth congratulates him, welcoming the newest superstar. He tells Dominic to grab a seat and take notes as he takes on Humberto Carrillo. Alrighty, there is no excitement factor in this bullshit going on. But at least Humberto Carrillo is in a match. So we take a look at this match. They started with a lockup. Seth rolls Humberto into the corner. Referee gets a break. Seth hits an axe handle, drags Humberto over the ropes, stares down Dominic. Humberto then shoots the leg and mounts with some right hands, gets a clothesline, and then a springboard kick to the face. And Seth and once Humberto got that springboard kick, Seth ended up rolling outside. Humberto came outside, and then Murphy tries to get involved in the match, but Dominic is there to prevent it. So we head back into the ring, and then here comes Humberto, starts kicking Seth on the side of the head. He mounts him in the corner with a few right hands, a couple of punches. Seth ended up sliding underneath and then trips him up. Seth attacks the back with some right hands, so he starts giving him a couple of punches and jabs. He seats Humberto up in the corner and steps up to the second rope. He locks up from behind. Humberto stands, waist lock from Seth. Humberto then punches in an elbow and then knocks Seth down. Humberto stands with Murphy on the apron. Dominic trips him with a kendo stick, which was a nice little swing he has. Because last time I seen Dominic with a kendo stick, he fucking was swinging the shit like it was a fucking baseball bat. But anyway, a moonsault. Humberto Carrillo tried to attempt a moonsault, but Seth got his boots up and then gets a super kick and then a powerbomb to Humberto. And then the famous curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. This match is over. And this match was nothing. Just barely reaching 3 minutes. Not even worth it. And I'm going to rate this match a 4.5 out of 10. So anyway, it's just the way this match was placed. I mean, you look at it like this. Just barely reaching 3 minutes in the first match. The segment was hard to watch for a lot of good reasons, though. But Dominic took some bumps that he didn't have to. It was kind of like a bit of an initiation, but I'll get to that in a second. So, once Dominic started staring down Seth, Murphy comes up to attack him, rolls Dominic in the ring, and we get a double team by Seth and Murphy. Seth then kicks the referee out, and then drags Humberto over and tells Dom to take notes and listen to the master at work. Dominic hits him with an elbow, then he mounts down Seth with a couple of punches. Then Murphy ended up coming to attack, then get a running knee. Murphy rolls outside, grabs a kendo stick, tosses it to Seth, and Seth started smacking Dominic on the back. Then another one to the gut. Then another smack across the back. And Murphy rips his shirt off. And then he started swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging. And of course, Seth MacFarlane's mocking for the fucking camera. And they just wallop the fucking shit, holy mother shit of fucking Dominic Mysterio. While Seth Rollins was actually was motherfucking with the camera and was saying, "Beg for mercy for your son, you coward." Well, although it probably might be, in my opinion, watching so many swings he's been taking, he's taken at least 30 kendo shots. So apparently this is like some sort of initiation. I am convinced. This was an initiation. Welcome to the WWE, Dominic Mysterio. That's what I thought. It was a killer segment. I will give him credit for that. Killer fucking segment. I liked it. Anyway, so we get a video package of the stupid Retribution storyline, which they don't even know who the fuck they are, who the fuck is involved in it. And it's a crazy bunch of mishaps, especially with what happened last week with the Molotov cocktails being thrown at a generator. And then, of course, fucking on SmackDown, when Retribution started heading towards inside the Performance Center and they started attacking some of the developmental talent, started wrecking havoc around the ringside area, especially with a fucking chainsaw and all. So anyway, we head towards Zelina Vega because she starts to get something on the mic because it started to advance the Montez Ford poison angle, which Bianca Belair gets mightily pissed at. In case you don't know, she actually attacked Zelina Vega during a Twitch stream, I believe, when she was having an interview with Kayla Braxton. Anyway, so she gets some mic time. She said she didn't poison anyone. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Well, she's got a point there, but newsflash, Zelina, there's no such thing as innocent until proven guilty anymore. Once you're born on this planet, you're guilty, period, fuck you, end of report, next fucking case. But innocent until proven guilty, I don't think there's such a thing. That's just my fucking theory. Anyway, so why would she ruin the opportunity that her men have? She doesn't thrive off her men's success. She creates it. She tells Bianca to keep her temper in check. The Street Profits want the smoke, that's fine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they want the tag team titles. So, Angel and Andrade will have everything to do with taking the titles from them. So the next matchup is Angelo Dawkins versus Andrade. So, decent match. Not the best match I've seen, but started off decently. But it can't really... if anything at all, this is just a fucking filler match. We get a graphic, by the way. We get a fucking graphic that Zelina Vega is going to battle Bianca Belair. So this was just a prelude to this shit. So this match was complete horse shit in my opinion. Because, Dawkins started the match well, but of course it just felt flat. And I just really didn't like it. I think it was just a bunch of bullshit. Forearms to Andrade in the middle of the match. Some punches left and right. Goes for a punch, eats a clothesline, and another clothesline, and another clothesline. Dawkins hits the ropes and gets an elbow to the face. This match was too fucking basic. He goes for a splash, but Andrade moves and then hits some elbows. Andrade hits the corner, bounces off, and runs with the knees to the face. Gets a near fall. Andrade then goes to the top rope and he dies off, but then gets a right hand to the face. Gets a cover, but Zelina Vega is on the apron. So here comes Bianca Belair finally. She pulls off Selena off the apron, and then a spine buster to Andrade. 1, 2, 3. This match fucking blows. Okay? This match fucking blows. It's kind of weird to see Andrade lose to a spine buster. So what makes you think that this is... Because Dawkins is a big guy? And there was another match that was too short. Although it was past the 3-minute limitation mark in my rule. That's one rule of mine. It was about 4 or 5 minutes. And that's 4 or 5 minutes that I'll never fucking get back. Luckily, I was on my cell phone checking my Instagram when I was watching this shit. But I did take some notes. I did write down some shit. I said this match was rotten. It was basic. It was slow. I didn't give a shit. Now, I know Andrade is much more capable than this. And I know Angelo Dawkins is much more capable of this too. This match gets a 3 out of 10. We're already off to a piss poor start already on the show. By the way, after the match, Bianca grabs Selena and then tosses her into the ring. Selena runs back out to the ring and the match is next. So, right from the get-go, after a shitty commercial break, which I piss on USA Network's fucking standard of putting a commercial break when there's action going on. Why the fuck would there be a brawl for like 20 or 30 seconds and then put on a fucking match while they're fighting? Fucking stupid. But anyway, Selena Vega versus Bianca Belair. This match is already in progress. We don't know how this match began. So Bianca turns her and then locks up Selena Vega with it, and then gives her a head. She locked her head, then hits a suplex on Selena Vega. Selena begs for forgiveness. Oh God, one of those basic ass heel tactics. So, yeah, that's gonna fucking work well. So anyway, the way I saw this match, it was actually fairly decent. So, Bianca Belair, midway towards the match, flips over Selena, and she keeps saying that she didn't do it. And Bianca then traps the hair. Selena then stomps the foot, and then hits a mid, and then she goes for a crucifix. Bianca Belair then spins her around. Selena then locks in a triangle choke, and she gets a 1 count. You know, I was actually saw a bit of wrestling in this actual, in this match. So I'm actually somewhat impressed. I mean, I know what Bianca Belair is capable of. I know what she's capable of. She's definitely got that little, that sense of athleticism that she has, because she does it on instinct. She knows what's up. She knows how to power lift her opponents. She knows how to fucking use her speed. She knows how to use her flexibility. So she's very good inside that ring. Selena Vega is good too. And I will say, if anybody had watched Impact Wrestling from back in 2010 or 2011, you could see how well she is capable of what she was, Sarita or whatever. She was a knockout women's tag team champion at one point in time. But anyway, it was a championship that was only briefly around for probably 2 years. Anyway, so a little bit towards the end of the match, Bianca gave Selena Vega an elbow. Selena Vega then tried to do a hurricanrana into the ropes. Selena Vega ended up in the corner. She heads towards the top rope. Then she dives with a crossbody, but Bianca ended up catching her because Bianca is a bit taller. Bianca then pressed Selena up high to just showcase her strength. Then drops her down face first into the mat. Bianca then gave her a beat down yet again, hits a snapmare, then tossed her by the hair across the ring. Bianca then hits to the corner, but Selena sends her into the post, shoulder and head first. Selena, with a kick in the corner, gave her a couple of stomps and then a couple of right hands, some basic shit. But Selena to the top rope, she keeps punching and proclaiming she didn't do it. Then a power bomb from Bianca when she power bombed the shit out of her, which looked nice. Then she lift up, sends Selena into the buckle, and Bianca grabs Selena and hits the KOD. Cover for the count. 1, 2, 3. And both girls did really well here. I ain't gonna hate, even if this was yet another coming out for Bianca Belair, especially with the way this match was going. They got it going. The problem is there was no consistency in this match because the commercial break, coming back from commercial break, I didn't even see how this match started. But in the end, I give this match a 6.5 out of 10. And like I said, this is one of the reasons why you need to push Bianca Belair. You could push Selena Vega too. And eventually, I bet you she's going to go after that title next. It might not be this year, but it might be sometime next year. That's my bold prediction. Charlie asked Bianca after the match if there's any evidence towards the claim. Bianca says we all know what she did, and if she do it again, she's going to have to get whooped. And the update on Ford's condition, Ford tells her that what happens is Montez will not be missing the biggest party of the summer. That's what Angelo Dawkins says. The Street Profits are up, and they want the smoke. All right. I need a smoke because I got to put up with this shit. So, next segment is the Hurt Business. And MVP is in the ring with Lashley and Shelton as soon as we get back from commercial break. MVP says he is not in a celebratory mood. He likes to pop people in the mouth, not bottles. So, he never misses an opportunity to be the guy who say, I told you so, but he fucking did. Okay, whatever. Apollo didn't beat him. The lights did. How come they ain't flickering now? Apollo comes out, says MVP always makes excuses. It's always someone else's fault. MVP brings up Extreme Rules. How come he didn't come into a fight? Apollo says Lashley was the one that hurt him. All while his back was turned, he's not hurting anymore. But he knows MVP is because Apollo has the new title on the shoulders, so yeah, whatever. MVP says he tried to help Apollo. All he does is make bad decisions. Like the bad decision he made coming out here by himself. Because let's be honest about that. The faces of this company never have any friends. Just like how Dominic Mysterio literally got the shit fucked out of him by at least 30 fucking kendo sticks, and he has no friends. Where was Kevin Owens? Where was all the other fucking faces? I swear to God, there is too much fucking inconsistency. I bet you if there was anybody that was willing to come out and break up the whole fucking situation, that would have been much more appealing. But there wasn't. So let's move on. Apollo says sometimes he does make bad decisions, but he's allowed to because he is the bad man. Matter of fact, the MVP don't care about Apollo, about his kids. Well, Apollo doesn't care about Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, but he does care about MVP. Want to talk about light flickering? At SummerSlam, the only lights going out will be MVPs. So, Lashley and Benjamin roll out. Apollo rolls in. He attacks MVP. MVP rolls out. Apollo picks up the entire fucking couch and tosses it over the ropes. So, we got a match going down already. As soon as we get back to commercial break. Motherfucker. Shelton Benjamin versus Apollo Crews. Come back to Raw. And after the commercial break, Apollo's hitting a dropkick to Shelton Benjamin. Suplex and a cover for a near fall. Benjamin is able to pick up the pace and hit a powerbomb. Gets another near fall for himself. Shelton sends Apollo to the outside. MVP and Lashley, they cower over him, and then they started talking shit. The referee tells him not to touch. Shelton ended up leaving the ring. And then, of course, back into the ring they go. Shelton then stands above Apollo, locks him up with a cravat, with a carrier, and then whip him to the ropes. And Apollo just flew him off and gave him a crossbody. And then an enziguri, which was nicely done by Apollo Crews. So, of course, yeah, he's got some skill. Don't doubt about it. He's not too heavy. He's not too light. But he's perfect because he can move inside that ring. So, I'm definitely going to give him the benefit of the doubt for Apollo Crews. So, this was righteous. At least Apollo Crews is being pushed. Out of all the people that have been buried, he finally gets his moment in the sun. It's about fucking time. But anyway, so we got a power slam, a standing moonsault, which is beautifully done. It gets a near fall. Then Apollo hits the ropes. Lashley then trips up Apollo. And then Apollo kicks him in the face. And Shelton rolls up on Apollo. 1, 2, 3. Shelton Benjamin gets a surprise victory. I just feel like certain people shouldn't be falling for little tricks like that. Even if they're wrestling like their style is not going to change. Whatever. The match itself was okay for as long as it lasted. It was all about a 5-minute match or so. I mean, a 5.5. I mean, it's not that bad. I'll give him some credit. Lashley then tries to put the full Nelson, and MVP tells him to stop. And you know what? He wants Apollo healthy for SummerSlam. So MVP tries to cheap shot him after that. Apollo high kicks him and then runs out the ring. You know, what the fuck? And then of course, there's some footage. They show fucking footage from earlier in the day with those fucking punk ass little Antifa looking motherfuckers. I mean, it's pretty cheap if you're gonna be doing this based on how they fucking look. So anyway, especially with Vince McMahon. Anyway, those pesky kids found cinder blocks, and the only security guard shorter than them screams like if his job is his life, and tells those fucking guys in masks, get the hell out of there. They fire back with a vicious retort, and they say, no, you get the hell out of here. Oh, yeah. That scares him a lot. That's the PG rating shit at its finest. So they toss a cinder block into the glass window, and then another cinder block is thrown, and pretty much they broke it in. This gets excitement. They start going, yeah. And that was yeah. What the fuck can I think of that? But anyway. So, backstage, Charlie Caruso is with Mickie James, which she is finally recovered from her 1.5 year long injury. I mean, poor Mickie James. I feel bad for her that she had suffered such a lingering injury, but I'm glad that I'm glad she came back. But anyway, she says she's got a big announcement saying that she's here to help lead the locker room, but she also has gold on her mind, which is what, a women's title? Anyway, here comes Lana, and then here comes Natalya, and Lana says she needs a TikTok. Natty is the most winning woman, the Serena Williams of the WWE. Lana creates a hashtag on the spot. Mickie says she would expect this from Lana because it's Lana. But Natty, she's got a legacy. She's worked so hard off of her family's coattails. And the thing about boats, Lana, they sink about boats. Is that because they call us, what was that fucking thing? BOAT. Best, who gives a fuck? But anyway, Natty calls that rude unison with Lana, and then visual comparison of skill and talent versus air and vapidity. Who gives a fuck? I mean, get. Okay, I am seriously disgusted. I don't really want to watch this fucking show anymore. But okay, let's just do it like this. And just when I was convinced that I don't want to watch this fucking episode. But I said to myself, I want to see how this fucking show is, because after all, I was challenged. So I'm going to do it. All right. Ivar is flirting with some chick. Here, in comes Eric, and then Ricochet and Cedric. Cedric has no tape. Eric is still not cute. He's being told that he's not good looking. Ricochet is trying to prevent himself from fucking laughing his ass off. Yeah, so here we got the Viking Raiders, two of the roughest, toughest wrestlers, former Raw Tag Team champs. And here we got Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, a former United States champion, who is, in my opinion, one of the greatest wrestlers wrestling on the planet in the men's division. You know? And especially a guy who had one of the greatest matches with Will Ospreay in New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is what this guy is fucking relegated to? And so, and if that wasn't enough, there was a 4-on-4 match between Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and the Viking Raiders taking on Akira Tozawa and 3 other fucking ninjas. And Akira Tozawa is another one. He's another one that's been... And he was the 24/7 title holder. A title that don't mean dick. And I say it don't mean dick because it's just a comedy prop at this point. I mean, it's not the badass, I'm going to fight for it no matter where the fuck you're at type of shit. They're not doing that no more. It's fucking bogus. But anyway. Ricochet had a crane kick, showing his athleticism, of course. Tag to Cedric, hits one of the fucking ninjas, gets a stomp on the back of the head. He fucking gives knees to the ninjas from Ricochet and Cedric as they get a double team. Tag to Ivar, then a tag to Eric, then a knee to one of the guys that did not get tagged in, one of those fucking ninjas. And then another knee to one of the other fucking ninjas. Then the Vikings head to the corner. And Akira yelled for one of the ninjas to get in the ring, but he hops down. So Akira hops down as well. Viking experience in the middle of the ring as soon as he gets tagged. 1, 2, 3. This wasn't even a fucking squash. This was just a mess. A mess beyond belief. So Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and the Viking Raiders get a victory. Which is fine by me, but the match was not dick. Not worth my time, not even worth your time. And my time is precious, and I'm pretty sure yours is too. And while all that shit comes on, here comes a referee from the back, and then one of the ninjas actually rolls up and gets Akira Tozawa pinned right on the entrance ramp, and then whoever won the damn 24/7 title, he unmasked, and it's R-Truth. I knew it. And he's what, 36-time fucking 37-time 38, 49, 227, 389. Who gives a fuck? He's multi 24/7 champion. Too numerous to count. So, Drew talks to Charlie Caruso, cringeworthy shit. Orton wants to know wanting to know about Evolution that just passed him by. Yada, yada, yada. Do I really give a fuck? Here comes Iconics. Talk some shit to Ruby and Liv Morgan. So they mock their return, calling Liv a two-face. Ruby's personality changes more than the color of her hair split ends. Yikes. Peyton Royce says they've been sharper. They've been shaping their futures, and the future are iconic. So, Peyton Royce versus Liv Morgan. Again, this was another match that wasn't worth my time. I mean, they're trying to push Liv Morgan, but they want to push Peyton Royce even further. So, a couple of rights, couple of punches, then a kick, trips to the leg with some rights, Peyton with a knee. Okay, Liv rolls up Peyton back in the ring. Peyton kicks with a spin kick. Peyton grabs Liv, screams that Ruby doesn't care about her, blah, blah, blah. Some shit talking. Rights, lefts. Peyton locks the head. And the reason why, you're probably wondering this. Why do I have no excitement out of my voice? Because it's not that good. But look at Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay. You know they could be better than this when they were in NXT. Because they could do more shit. These women are being told what to do and what not to do, and the shit that they're told not to do is actually making them better. But this shit is just trash. It has something to do with the limitations. So Billy is on the apron. Ruby hops on too. Liv is distracted. Billy ended up going out, but then Ruby was still hopping on the apron, and she thinks that she's distracting the referee. Peyton then attacks the back, grabs the head, turns Liv with a deja vu suplex. 1, 2, 3. And Peyton Royce is victorious. And you know what? I will say this. Peyton Royce is definitely improving. But they buried Liv Morgan once again. Why hype about her back in January and then bury her and give her the fucking shovel? Ruby rolls into the ring to check on Liv. The Iconics leave. And before you know it, there was a bit of dissension because they didn't know what the fuck was going on. Here comes Shane McMahon in that smoke-filled room asking the security guard if anything is going okay. And, looks like he is. So he goes in, and here comes Raw Underground once again. Seriously, I don't know how I could take this shit. How can I take this shit? We already had 2 straight 0 out of 10 matches. Or actually, I stand corrected. There are no ratings because what the fuck do you want me to think of with a match that's under 3 minutes? Do you want me to rate that shit? Anyway. 0 and 0. There you go. The 4-on-4 tag team match with with obviously with guys that are talented but buried, and a bunch of fucking fuckwit ninjas. And because where the fuck did he get that gimmick? Now Akira Tozawa is a ninja. The Peyton Royce thing with Liv Morgan that just further amps up Peyton Royce, and that further downs and buries Liv Morgan. It's like, what's the fucking point? Okay, so back from commercial break. Here we are, Raw Underground. So Riddick Moss is in the ring, the former 24/7 champion. He starts fighting in the ring, gets a couple of rights and hands, and he starts punching and kicking and fucking gets him a face lock and shit. So he ends up winning. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Any of the roster, the main roster guys that are actually going to get involved in this shit, and you damn well know, they're going to win this shit. Some underground shit. Underground Fight Club bullshit. That bitch-ass, pussy-ass Fight Club shit that's PG rated and don't even have no blood. Let's see some blood. Can someone contact Josh Barnett? Motherfucker. Anyway, I'm not saying Shane McMahon is bad. He's a good guy. It's just, if this is his idea, then obviously this is trying to do something different. It just needs more structure. This, I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm just baffled at this point. It's fucking ridiculous. So Shane congratulates Moss after he beat the shit out of his opponent, who is happy that he rips off his shirt. Shane wonders what happens next. What's going to happen next on Raw Underground? Stay tuned. Do I really want to stay tuned? Okay, so match number 7. We got Asuka versus Bayley, and this match is to determine if Asuka's going to face Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Asuka's already pissed because she's trying to get revenge off Kairi Sane's attack which we already know, and I've already disclosed by this, she went back to Japan to be with her family. Nonetheless, she's fucking going away from this horse shit. But anyway, Asuka's pissed off, starts attacking Bayley. Snapmare, head smashes into the court, and Bayley started rolling back on the outside, so Asuka then follows, stomps on Bayley outside, rolls Bayley back in. Asuka ended up on the top rope, and then Bayley clips her leg and then pulls her off and slams Asuka down to the mat. See, this right here, this started to actually be a wrestling match. See, now Bayley, Sasha, Asuka, what I see from them is that they're actually the horsewomen of wrestling, and trust me, they're super fucking talented. They are excellent. But Asuka is just as talented as they are. She has that strong style, like fucking essence in that ring. She could fucking fight. There's no doubt about it. But the thing is, the bullshit that has come along with the booking department in the back, and we all know it's Vince McMahon's fucking ideas. Nonetheless, this match was actually good. There was a couple of instances where the lights started to flicker because of that retribution shit, or whatever the fuck. So after that first flicker, Bayley sends Asuka into the corner and then kicks Asuka right down. She started stomping on her, kicking her. Bayley covers her and then gets a 1 count. So Bayley kicks Asuka right away and then gets a boot to her chest, and then Bayley starts missing with a couple of rights, and then Asuka then turns into a backslide roll up near fall. Asuka rolls out, kicks her to the chest of Bayley. Then the lights flicker again and no one fucking mentions it. Now, as far as a wrestling match is concerned, this is good. But the lights flickering, is that fucking necessary? Anyway. So, after a fucking commercial break, Asuka gets a near fall right away. So, Asuka's kicking Bayley's ass from this point. Giving her couple of kicks, which again, strong style plays a big part. Sasha's on the apron. Asuka gets distracted long enough for Bayley to catch a kick and then lock it in ankle lock. Asuka then rolls to the bottom. She reaches it. So she has some good match wrestling. So a couple of kicks to the back of the knee. Bayley gets a DDT to the foot and then gets a 1 count. And then another DDT to boot. Bayley starts kicking the shit out of Asuka. And then right across the bottom rope, Sasha tries to tease Asuka. Bayley then steps onto the ankle and then distracts the referee. Sasha slams Asuka's leg onto the apron. Gets another near fall. And I gotta tell you, there was a lot of near falls in this match. But if we come to the towards the end, Bayley tried to escape a submission when Asuka tried to roll up into the submission, try to get an Asuka lock. Bayley escaped, turns into the hold, mounds, and then Asuka locks in an armbar. Bayley turns into it and gets a pin and a near fall. 1, 2, no. She kicks out. She gets out of there. A double knee. She gets a double knee for Asuka, but Bayley ended up reversing into an Indian deathlock. Bayley then puts the pressure on with her boot. Sasha then continues to start mocking Asuka. Then Asuka ended up reversing, and then she gets an ankle lock, and then a knee bar, and then here comes Bayley again. Another near fall happens. Asuka still has the hold on. Bayley lifts up from behind. Asuka turns into a pin cover. Damn. And I mean, how many near falls has Asuka done in this match? So she strikes down with Bayley, and then Bayley gets one of her own strikes, and they start going back and forth, and they start fighting with fisticuffs. Asuka then fires back with a bunch of punches and kicks, with a spinning back kick, then gets blocked, then a high knee to the face. Asuka grabs Bayley in the corner. She sits Bayley up in the corner, and then Asuka heads to the top. Right elbows to Bayley. Bayley sends Asuka down with the right. Bayley to the top rope. Elbow drop to Asuka. Near fall, which she tried to have a pinning cover. Bayley gets up first after they both were down. And she hits a back elbow, which looked pretty painful. And then a sunset bomb into the buckle. Bayley started mocking Kairi. She rushed in. And here comes Asuka with a flying armbar into the Asuka lock. And Bayley tapped out. This was great. Now, it followed an unfortunate formula of the WWE match with a commercial break, which I blame, which I don't know why there's no side to side like the way they do with NXT. Stupid fucking commercial breaks as covering the fucking match. Once they got back to the match, it was all non-stop. Both girls killed it in that ring. I'm going to give them a 7.5 out of 10. This was... You know what? Nah. I'll give them an 8. That's how good they are. Bayley and Asuka have great chemistry. And I believe, in my opinion, when I was watching that horror show at Extreme Rules match between Sasha Banks and Asuka, that was an 8 out of 10 match until the fucking stupid, screwy fucking finish that these stupid, screwy fucking bookers fucking did. And that's my beef with them. I have beef with these fucking writers. Because an 8 out of 10 match turned into a 4.5 out of 10 match because the ending didn't make no fucking sense. Nor it was stupid. But anyway. So, this one kind of made up for it. It was 8 out of 10. I liked it. And I think it was just definitely... interesting. So, anyway. So, get it. But it's basically a cherry on top of a shit... basically a cherry on top of a shit Sunday. Because Raw Underground is back at it again, and we got some amateur wrestler who was a jobber at some point, and I don't know who the fuck it is. Who is it? What is it? Dead? I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but was it Arturo Ruas? What is his fucking name? No, his last name is Ruas. Okay. So we got that shit, and we got some bad production because Kevin Dunn is a piece of shit. He can't produce cock, and I'm gonna say that once again, and I'll say it loud. I'll say it loudly and to the point. Kevin Dunn can't produce cock. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, so that being said. We're back at Raw Underground, and here comes Dabba-Kato. He was introduced last week, and he was the Dabba-Kato, formerly Baba Tunde. I've seen him wrestle at NXT. I've seen him at a live event. So it's about time this guy, this big, gigantic, 7-foot-tall dude, weighs 340 pounds. This guy could beat the shit out of every asshole opponent he could find. And he gets renamed Dabba-Kato. But anyway, he finally gets some TV time. He destroys every little fucking dude that comes in his fucking way. Gets his ass kicked. And I don't know what it is, but it looked like it hurt. Here comes Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler comes in, hops into the ring. Shane asks Kato to leave. Shayna puts in the mouth guard. No one wants to face her, so here comes Shayna. Here comes 3 other chicks coming in. And I heard one of them was an MMA martial artist. But she was told by Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon, and all those bitch-ass pussies over in the fucking back not to do anything and just pretend that she don't know what she's doing and let her get her ass kicked by Shayna Baszler. Really fucking neat. Anyway, I'm looking at this shit and... okay, so there's basically it's like underground fighting and blood sport like shit with fucking no rules, basically. So, what can I say about this? This is just unabearing. I mean, it's trying to make Shayna Baszler look good, and I can see that. And here we go. She's victorious. She beats the shit out of some blonde chick. Names on basically anonymous. There's some other chick with black hair. I don't know who her name is. Once again, the name's kept anonymous. And then another chick. I forgot. Was she like? She had like amber orange hair or some shit. I just don't care. But anyway, so those fucking retribution fucks are outside and they flipped a car over and I'm like, what the fuck happened? So why are they fucking? They flipped over a car. And they act like the fucking Jacksonville. They act like the Orlando Magic just won the NBA championship, and they flip a fucking car over, like a bunch of rioters. So they claim they are. And that was it. We didn't get no other explanation. We didn't get no other bullshit. I just don't know what to say about this. It's just fucking stupid. Okay, next match. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. I am so excited. Not. Except for Kevin Owens, though. I'll give him credit. Kevin Owens looked good in this match. Randy Orton looked basic as fuck. I'm sorry. I mean, look, he's doing a great job as a heel. But this match main events the show. So they did start with a lockup. I will give them that. Side headlock from Orton. The shoulder tackle sends Orton out to the outside. Owens grabs him from the inside and then pulls Orton's leg. And then pulls Owens' leg. And they go outside. Then they start fighting. A couple of chops, right hands, and an uppercut. It was just basic. Basic shit. Basic fucking shit. Except for Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens, he gets a super kick on Randy Orton, goes to the corner, and then gets a fucking cannonball on Orton. And then Orton goes outside. Orton hits another cannonball to Orton against the barricade. Now, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be honest with you, 100% honest. I hated this match. Let me explain why. Because I'm not going to go into detail anymore. I'm actually fucking done with the detail. I really don't want to go into detail with this. I'll tell you about the end. But let me just say it like this. I fucking hated this match. Because what I saw in this match, Kevin Owens was doing the most attacks. Now, he was the workhorse in this match. Now having said that, a careful observation of this match, watching it from a live perspective, and then watching it once again in a rerun. I have come to my conclusion, and it was a simple conclusion. I didn't have to watch the match 5 or 6 times so I could actually get my thorough fucking observation or my thorough description of what happened in detail. Fuck the details. Let me just say it like this. Kevin Owens was the workhorse of this match, and he carried most of the match. Now, let me tell you something. This literally happens on most Randy Orton fucking matches, except for the one when he fought against Edge at Backlash with the so-called greatest wrestling match ever, which I rated it a 9, and it was anything but. But anyway. So, look, Randy Orton is obviously the heel. Kevin Owens is the face. Here's where I think, where I just don't understand the logic of this shit. And which is reason why sometimes he doesn't get just heel heat. Sometimes he gets go away heat in my eyes. But he's a good heel. I will give him that. He's a good fucking heel. But sometimes it's over dramatics, and it's like, why does he do that shit? But anyway, Randy Orton didn't hardly do anything in this fucking match. Kevin Owens did the most fucking work. He went on the top rope. He did the risky moves. He did the cannonball. Randy Orton, a kick, a punch, uppercut, neck hold. That's it. Fucking Kevin Owens did literally everything in this fucking match, and then some. Kicks, enziguris, fucking cannonballs on the ring corner and then the outside of the ring. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Anyway, towards the end of the match, they were already fighting back. They were already fighting outside. There was a power bomb. Or Kevin Owens got Randy Orton for a minute, and then fucking he forwarded him, gives him a power bomb, but Orton ended up rolling outside like a bitch that he is. Owens then followed him, belly to back suplex onto the table, which didn't fucking break. So the pain factor had to be up 2 or 3-fold on that one. Back inside the ring, Orton has Owens on the top turnbuckle, right hand from Owens, and then the right from Orton. And they start exchanging punches. Owens punches the gut. Orton fights back. They go back and forth once again. Owens gets a headbutt. Orton falls to the mat. Owens gets a swanton bomb. Gets a near fall. Flair calls for Orton to stand. Owens is hunting. He looking like Orton, so he's trying to fucking set him up. So he waits for the attack, turns Orton, kicks, tries to do the kick, then the stunner, turns it around, RKO, 1, 2, 3. They traded this like a main event, and it wasn't that good. So they gave the win to, obviously, Randy Orton, and they fucking know that this was going to be a preparation and a momentum victory for his match at SummerSlam against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Owens looked good. And this was like a 13-minute match. But Randy Orton just looked like shit. I'm going to say that. Especially after one fucking RKO. And of course, downgrade the quality of this fucking match because he's got momentum going. He's going to go against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, Hal. He's been given a title opportunity. Jesus, fuck. And so Orton calls for a microphone. He tells Flair not to leave just yet. He wants to ask a favor for Flair. So they were going to celebrate, but then there's something they need to talk about. And we go to commercial break. And I'm thinking with all that fucking time, they could have done a Retribution angle or a fucking Raw Underground segment, but they didn't do it. They went back to this. Orton tells Flair that he has every right to be upset with him, but he can't be angry with him. Some more fucking sentimental fucking accolading like shit. I have seen this crap over and over and over again. Especially the same shit with Batista last year for preparing for last year's WrestleMania. Batista's match against Triple H. I mean, says that Randy Orton loves Ric Flair and how much Ric Flair loved Randy Orton, how much he kept him out, kept his dumb ass out of doing what he was doing. But now he doesn't respect Flair anymore, doesn't love him anymore, because Flair is now a liability to everything he is trying to get done right now. Why am I watching this fucking promo? Then he started talking some shit. And so Flair is now a liability. Thinking that Orton could be the son Flair wished he had. Flair seemed upset, calls out his tears, but Flair isn't really crying. I'm fucking crying. I'm fucking crying because I can't take this shit anymore. But I will say this. When Flair had the microphone on, he cuts a very personal and very intimate promo onto Randy Orton, and I will give him credit. That was a very, very good promo. And he's fucking saying that, yeah, maybe he likes to be a part of it because it's the greatest feeling in the world. He's here because he wants Orton's approval and doesn't want to be with Orton. He wants to be here when Orton wins his titles. When he comes and breaks Flair's record, not Cena's record, Flair's record. Now that would have been a good pop in front of a crowd, but since we're in the current pandemical situation that we're currently in right now, apparently that's not going to happen. So he called around everyone that mattered. You have to be this close to where he was. He's not trying to take anything from Orton. He's Charlotte's dad and wants to be a part of Orton's life. He's not Ric Flair anymore, but he's a big fan, and Orton is the guy to break his record. Orton grabs a mic, hugs Flair, break the hold. Flair turns, and Orton punches him in Ric Flair's fucking old saggy balls. Space Mountain has turned to Sissy Mountain, apparently in this part. So, anyway, so he got blowed. And he sizes Flair up, and now he's on his knees. The lights start flickering in the background. They started going off, then they went back on. And then the lights go out, they're back on. Orton readies, he runs, the lights go out. And then a punt kick in the dark, which I know he did not do it. So Flair's laid out. Here, Orton grabs his hand, lays it on the chest of Flair, whispers something in Flair's ear. You can hear the shudder of the camera. I'm like, come on. Drew runs down the ramp and enters the ring. And Drew yells out, "Really? Even him? You evil son of a bitch!" Orton stands at the top of the ramp to see the... So based on my judgment at that, let me give a quick recap before I end this fucking review. First off, the first match of the night was Seth Rollins versus Humberto Carrillo. That was trash, 4.5. It gave an ass whooping that Dominic Mysterio probably was expecting to get. At least he didn't get it in the locker room, though. He got it in public, in front of a television audience, a small one. And apparently he basically did what he had to do. He got his ass whipped with a fucking kendo stick and then some. I liked that segment. It showed the brutality and how tough that Dominic actually is, and that basically showcased it. Angelo Dawkins versus Andrade, that was drizzling shits. That was a 3. Zelina Vega versus Bianca Belair, this was a 5.5. That was okay. It was okay for what it was. Actually, I said 6.5, but you know what? I'll give him 6.5. I don't see why not. I'm in a good mood, but sometimes this shit happens, and I don't want to be a part of it. Anyway, Shelton Benjamin versus Apollo Crews. It was basic for what it was. It was a 5.5 out of 10. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet and the Viking Raiders versus Akira Tozawa and his dumbass ninjas. 0. Non-rating because this was drizzling shits. Liv Morgan versus Peyton Royce. 0. Non-rating because it didn't even last 3 minutes. It was stupid. And it just further buried Liv Morgan. Asuka versus Bayley. This was match of the night. I'll give them an 8 out of 10. But giving them an 8 out of 10 is like I said before, it's given a cherry on top and the whipped cream on top of diarrhea shake. So yeah, it's not fucking good. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. That match was probably a 5.5. Because Kevin Owens did most of the fucking work. And fucking Randy Borton, like what's his name said when he was calling him out on Twitter. That's okay. My baby couldn't go to sleep, so I put on Randy Orton. So I put on a match of Randy Orton's, and she fell asleep immediately. That was a big old diss, but it fucking made sense, and I laughed my ass off because of that. All right. So what do I think of this Raw? It was a 4.5 out of 10. The Raw Underground shit and the Retribution shit mixed with the stupid ass bullshit storyline and then matches and rivalries. I'm just, what the fuck happened? It's just not good. Vince McMahon, you need to fucking step the fuck down. I'm fucking serious. You've done too much damage as an old man. You can't make good decisions anymore. You're fucked. Fuck you too, Kevin Dunn. Turd. Fucking snaggletooth motherfucker. And Bruce Pritchard, I don't know about Bruce Pritchard, and I don't know what he does, but I'm just sure he's just ass-kissing for a job, so I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I got this one going. I'm writing for both Raw and SmackDown. I love you. In case you guys don't know, he was Brother Love. So what? That was creative. What the fuck else happened? So what the fuck is... And then the stupid writers. Goddamn, what's the fucking point? This ain't fucking Keeping Up with the Kardashians, those dumbass cunts. No, this is fucking professional wrestling. And that's sports entertainment, pal. This is sports entertainment. This ain't professional wrestling. This is sports entertainment. Yeah, and then you wonder why a lot of independent wrestlers hesitate to sign with your fucking company. I just don't fucking get it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why this show that used to have 5.9 million viewers at one time, now they've been reduced to 1.7. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince McMahon for you, old fuck. So anyway, that'll do for this week's episode of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. Make sure you check out the next episode soon. Hopefully some interesting wrestling events will be occurring, and hopefully I get another special guest that's down to have a little chat. You know, have some fun, have a fun conversation, you know, and once again, thank you to Eli Everfly, and I give another thanks to Zeta Zhang for both appearing on my show. It was definitely fun having them on and talking about wrestling, and talking about what their interests were, and talking about the coolest things they've done, and you know, it was really awesome and so cool. But anyway, thank you Zeta Zhang, and thank you Eli Everfly. Hopefully, who knows, will be my next guest. But other than that, I think it's time to wrap up the show. So with that being said, it was a good week this week. Raw was shit, but not as shitty as last week, but it was still shit and it still stinks. But anyway, and thanks again Eli Everfly for appearing on my show. Nonetheless, with that being said, it's time to close out the program, close out the episode. So this is Eric Peralta, a.k.a. the Wrestling Enthusiast, reminding you to wash your ass. And have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.